It was actually God's word, I have to say, that helped me to finally be able to understand concepts that I did not know before. Hi, everyone. This is James Lynch, and welcome to this Poetry Moment. What am I talking about as far as God's Word, how it helps us, how it has helped me? And when I say help me, I'm not talking just spiritually, I am talking about intellectually as well, academically. You see, uh, if you can recall, I talked about how important an environment that's conducive to or for a person to learn. You know, I've given so many different scenarios from the importance of the teachers, uh, the helpfulness of question and answer sessions where you can literally ask a question and get you see, you ask a direct question and you get a direct answer back. You see what I'm saying? All of this is the way people have been taught and learned for centuries. Now, with that being said, also, there's always different difficulties that comes with different students and classrooms. See, everyone does not get the 4.0 and honors type of grading scale that a lot of individuals do when take the normally at least 1% of the whole school, 1% of each grade of those ones who end up falling into those honors category. Okay. And then, the other valedictorians, the one who gives those keynote speeches and stuff, along with all of those, look, teachers wearing their different decorum, their different robes that actually represents their discipline. You see, and that's why you'll see some of these teachers with their different roles or robes, and some of them may even have a totally different color than someone else at times because it still represents the discipline, what they were studying in school, what they got their degrees in, whether it was math, science, or some other field that it may not even seem like, oh, I didn't know. Did they teach that in class or teach that in school? And it'll be like, no, that teacher may not have not taught that. But guess what? Because they have received their master's, at least, you see, in this type of field or doctorate, really, then they still represent that field. Okay. Now, here is my point. What they actually graduated in, what they now are in charge of. They can actually, like I told you, put forth theories, etc. But let me get right back to the students themselves. Okay, here it is, an environment conducive to learning, and no matter if you have that environment at times, then guess what? There are other factors that play into where you might have a student that's struggling, that may even be failing or what have you, and you will even have the parents at home saying, I don't know why my child is having a difficult time. I mean, they got their nice room to themselves, they got this or what have you, and the teachers would be the same way in school. Well, because sometimes it is literally still the environment that they have to traverse through as they're growing up. You see, coming of age, etc., where there's just a lot of outside stimuli and especially inside stimuli. You see, that's affecting the thought processes at times, and especially, like I said, when you're just trying to fit in a lot of cases. Talk about the peer pressure, the pressure that's put on individuals at times. You probably have felt it yourself that it's enough to still, for a lot of persons, the wear on them emotionally every day, every school day, or what have you, even on the weekends, because that's just what they have to deal with in the environment that they still have within their own, maybe at home sanctuary, which is very important to have, and even the school that's conducive to studying. But here's my point now. I found though, you know, once I really had a chance to take, Bible studies serious and things of that nature, it did something um, in a very helpful way to my mind. That I have to say, I still have that same feeling today. And I'm sure others have gone through this, and that's why I'm mentioning to you. Because in your efforts to actually know about God, I mean, it's like you're tuning in to matters, uh, spiritual matters, your meditation, because you really want to understand this being of unfathomable. See, you can't even fathom his power, his wisdom, or anything else. You know that at least from your parents. But then you start reading things in the Bible from the way that he deals with his creation, the love that's involved with everything, then also his judgments. And the focus continues to be like, wow, I didn't know that God even thought like this. You see? Um, oh, you mean God is not, he doesn't get angry easily, like from what maybe I've thought about before because of what he's going to do with hellfire and stuff. And then you find out what you mean. What? He's not even going to burn you in hell forever. See, stuff like that. And you just meditate and you meditate, and you learn about God and his love, justice, wisdom, and power. And see, and it started actually tuning your mind in such a way that you may not even realize it was doing it. Because when it even started getting into prophecy and weeks of years and how you figure out this equation, you see, even in the Bible where it was talking about prophecies that would let you know when a judgment was going to come, or some type of great event would even happen on the earth, whether it was 140 some years for Noah to build the ark, to when Jesus would actually be born and be around Bethlehem and Nazareth during that time, if persons were paying attention and guess what, doing the math to know that he would arrive during a certain time. And see, and people who were doing that, it's like they weren't doing it to try to get a grade. It was like they just really wanted to know, you see? And so it was training the mind, even in a not only intellectual way, but an academic way. You see what I'm saying? And so having that mindset and being calm in that way, some persons are found that it soothes their emotions and their sometimes people, you heard the expression, they're afraid to fail, they're afraid to get a bad grade or what have you. You see what I'm talking about? Where, well, it's like after going through that type of studying of God's word, the Bible, it would throw for a lot of individuals that fear of failure just right out the window. You see, not even thinking about it, because then with anything, whether they were going into their own profession, you see what I'm saying? Or even going back to school, they notice that they pick up and understand concepts that they struggled with when they were just in middle school and even high school. See, all of that came. Now, some people say, well, that's because you have the maturity now. I can't argue with that. I don't want to argue with that. But I tell you what, you can still have some persons who have maturity, and I've met them. And guess what? and still don't, like, yeah, no way in the world can I go take that course in this school or college or whatever. You see what I'm talking about? So I'm just telling you that God's word, the Bible, has still helped a lot of people to even not only calm their mind with the maturity, but even have the motivation, you see, the right mindset to learn anything that they need to learn. But this is what I'm going to tell you today. You still need the same foundation and principle on how you teach people. And I told you, I firmly believe no way in the world when there are some matters that are just so important that this individual or this person over here, should not, or should I say, they really should have a direct person they can get a question and answer for this and that. I won't go into all the reasons of what some persons have experienced because you still have a lot of trusted sources out there, and yet you also have trusted sources with people who represent those trusted sources that sometimes struggle with throwing their own opinion in there, even without telling you they're throwing their own opinion in there. So I'm serious. I've seen it more than once where you can ask a direct question from a trusted source or what have you, or sources, and still sometimes get diametrically opposed answers to it. And when you get that, then you know you need a question and answer session to know which one is really applying to the narrative and this, or the context of this and that. And so I'm sharing it with you because that is nothing to look down upon the person on. In fact, what amazes me, and this is something I experienced in my life, I've actually had people put me through hell and high water of just being determined that, I'm going to just have to figure everything out for myself. When I look at the deepness of the information that I learned, the intricacies of it, the math to it, the science to it and everything, I come to the conclusion and I stand by it. You want me to do something that you didn't even have to do yourself. You know you had this person or this group or this academia source to still learn a lot of this stuff by still even getting your questions answered directly without going through a lot of hell. Now, this is what I'm going to say, because remember, some things you do just have to experience for yourself. But when we're talking about a time frame here, and that's what I'm emphasizing, a time frame here, you know what? If the barn is burning down, you don't have time to say, okay, here are all the steps to go to the well, or and this and that, whatever. You know what? You sit up there and you say, look, run with me. I'm going to show you, get this water and run it back for a bit. So I'm saying you have to speed up certain things at times. And you have to say right away what you're doing and why you're doing it or what have you. And I know that's once again a little simple illustration there, but that's my whole point about the importance of certain matters that people learn. And it's like, you know what? If it's one thing that I have learned from maturity, is there are some matters you just don't play around with. Why? Because if you mess around and don't give the information that is needed, it's a fact. Just like, what was it, Marie or Marissa, the one who gave that Harvard graduation speech about when she said, if you don't have the right information, you can't act. And see, and I get exactly what she's saying. And I'm going to tell you, I bet you a lot of other intelligent people understand exactly what she's saying as well. And so that's why, like I said, when you have other persons then that want to make even an argument about what she said in that matter, see, Those are the type of individuals, again, that I tell you, see, those are the type of person that they'll not only allow a barn to burn down, but those are the same type of individuals that, again, long as they're well off, they'll let the whole world economy burn down as well. I said what I said, and I know what I'm talking about. So have a very wonderful day, Perceptive readers. Take care.